Hi guys. I am coming to you today obviously from a new place. This is not the background of any of my videos before this, and with some updates for you about where I've been and what's ahead for us on this channel, and for me in my life and business. I'm going to do this kind of uncut, unedited, just stream of consciousness for you, partly just because if I think about it too much, I'm going to start editing and parsing together my thoughts in a different way than I want to. I really just want to talk to you person to person and share where I've been and what's been going on and what I'd really like to create this year. And we're in the middle of a pandemic, so maybe addressing that would be helpful. So first of all, welcome to my new home. I purchased a home just outside New York in Westchester County. I absolutely love it. You can see this is a mirror, so it's reflecting my ceiling and the rest of my living room. I bought a house that is historical home. I can't speak. A historical home. It was built in 1885, and it's got a ton of original character to it, and it's been really well maintained over the century. My husband and I are just absolutely loving it. And that leads me to part 2 of my update. I got married. So actually in the fall, within the span of 30 days, I turned 30 years old. I got married and I bought a house all at the same time. So many of the months that I was not filming and recording last year were consumed with that. When instead of recording and creating new content for you guys, I was working through the very long journey of purchasing this house and planning my wedding and getting married and going on my honeymoon. And just, I stayed pretty occupied with that. Clearly I've grown my hair a little bit since then also, so there's a little more of me here to share. And what else? 2020 has been such an interesting year. I know it's the start of a new decade, and none of us expected to be where we are right now in the middle of this pandemic that we're in. But I just wanted to kind of share some personal updates with you guys, aside from what I just shared. So another contributing factor that had me step back from sharing weekly content on YouTube last year was a mental health journey that I was also still currently, where I was dealing with some pretty significant anxiety and depression. So anxiety is a term that I've used flippantly for a lot of my life, but I've always been a fairly anxious person, a type A, get shit done, anxious type of person, tightly strung or tightly wired or whatever, high strung or whatever, is what people would describe me as when I was younger. And I've done a lot of work to kind of unwind a bit and release that anxiety in my personality. But I learned last year that I've actually been suffering from actual anxiety disorder for longer than I was aware. And it kind of became obvious to me last year because I started having pretty regular panic attacks out of absolutely nowhere. Oftentimes they weren't triggered by a certain thing or thought pattern, but they just happened. Sometimes in the middle of the night when I was asleep, sometimes in the middle of the day when I was just relaxing on the couch, sometimes while I was working. It really didn't matter. And some depression that went along with that. It felt like my body and mind were out of my control. Like I couldn't just show up to work and do my thing, or I couldn't, take care of myself in the way that would really heal whatever was going on. I felt like I didn't have any sense of control over my life. So it was a challenging time to put myself in front of a camera and act like I struggled with feeling like I had value to share, since I was so in the process with my own journey at that point. And granted, I still have a beautiful practice full of people that I'm coaching. I coached throughout that and still now. They were the most gracious human beings to me in the whole world, when sometimes I would just have to text them and reschedule because of bad days. But I'm very, very blessed and thankful for people in my life who were incredibly supportive, not least of which to mention my clients, but also I got a therapist that really, really supported me through a lot. I, of course, have a coach myself who was instrumental in the breakthroughs that I had, in compassion and grace for myself through that process. And of course, my now husband, he and my family were immensely supportive during all of it, in really slowing down and helping me through it. I don't know if I can't remember if I shared this on a video last year, but I lost my grandmother in February of 2019. And she was another mother to me. I called her my Wonder Woman because she was my hero, my everything. And if another mother is the best way I can describe it. I lived next door to her for over a decade of my life, so I spent a lot of time with her. And she was just someone who really got me, and I really got her, and we could just make each other laugh till we cried, and we had a lot in common and loved each other deeply. So she struggled with Parkinson's, and her journey came to an end in February of last year, and that was the impetus that started the panic attacks and the depression and things like that. My grief journey was unlike any grief I've ever experienced before. It was very, very deep and difficult. So, I just wanted to kind of update you. Of course, there was a lot of life happening at the same time that was full of joy. The marriage and the buying the house and a lot of just wonderful things were happening and unfolding in my life. But at the same time, as is the human experience, I think I was really struggling mentally and emotionally with that grief and with the loss that I was processing, and still I am processing, to be honest. So that's where I've been. A lot of light and a lot of dark, which I think is perfectly wonderful and divine and utterly human. And what I wanted to share to kind of just reintroduce myself to you guys, since it's been a while, is what this year entails. So maybe I'll start with right here and right now. Obviously, a lot of us are just completely in the unknown is the best way I can describe it. It's none of us know how long COVID is going to last or going to be affecting our jobs, or how long it could be a threat to our families, and our well-being as a society and as individuals. So I wanted to make very abundantly clear for anybody who's watching this video that I am here as a free resource to anybody who would like some support in processing the change that we're all undergoing right now, and the struggle and fear and just total uncertainty that we're all in. This is what I do as a coach. I am constantly the mirror, or the reflective surface, the safe space, the judgment-free zone for my clients to process all the stuff in their space that's holding them back from fully experiencing life and joy in the moment right now, and moving whatever's in the way of them creating the next thing out of the way for them to really have the life of their dreams. So I'm really used to spending time in the unknown. I'm really used to spending time in the uncertainty, the fear, the I don't know how, my feelings are everywhere. Like that's my new comfort zone as a coach. That's what I spend my time talking to people through. So I'm aware that I have value to give to people in this time, and I have no qualms about giving my time free at this point, because I think everybody needs support through what we're all experiencing. So I'm going to leave a couple of resources in the description. One will be my email address. Please just email me directly and I will schedule a time with whatever availability I have for you. My schedule is fairly flexible at this point, since here we are in the middle of COVID and things are kind of up in the air. So I would love to work with you to find an hour to support you in whatever you need. If it's just a space to vent, if it's a space to talk about how to use these next few months, if it's a space to talk about business and what the right move is for you, to bridge, the gap here in income, I'm here. I'm a resource, and I'm absolutely willing to be your partner in it. And the second resource I want to share is actually a podcast that I shared with this community called Shared Practices. So it is a community of dentist entrepreneurs. So they are people who are either in school, out of school, in workplace, who are looking to buy or start a new practice of their own. And my husband is actually a head coach of that community and invited me onto his podcast to really share what I see as a coach for people in this time, especially business owners, new business owners, or people in school and with jobs that are currently on halt and just completely up in the air with what's next. So I shared a bunch of tips on there and recommendations. I gave a list of books. I talked about exercises you can do to kind of process all of this and really get a sense of empowerment again around it. So I'm going to share email address and the link to the podcast. It's only 35 minutes, so if you have a little time, throw it on and listen to it, and hopefully you get something for yourself out of it. So that's it. I just wanted to say hi again, because I loved posting videos last year and I loved connecting with you all on and offline. A number of you guys watching this video hired me. So if you've been watching me since last year, or if you're a new subscriber, don't consider it out of the realm of possibility that you and I can be friends in real life or even work together in real life. I love YouTube so much, and I love the accessibility that we can have in conversation with each other. So I would love to re-empower posting in here regularly. I may go back and incorporate some of my old editing kind of style. I thought, well, maybe I'll just scrap that and just do these one-take videos and share them authentically. But I think there is a lot of value in shortening down my blah, blah, blah to get to the point much quicker. So I may kind of go back and forth between some just raw, unedited, here's me talking to you one-on-one, like we're just sitting on a couch together, and some like high value, here's the step 1, 2, 3 kind of videos. So that's it. That's all. Thank you so much for watching. I would love to hear from you below. Where are you in the world? How is it where you are? I live in New York, so I'm at the epicenter of this craziness here in the United States. I'm on full lockdown, not leaving the house except to walk my dog and buy groceries when I need to. So it's strange times we're in, and my heart goes out to everybody and their families to stay safe and to listen to the recommendations to stay home. And my hope is that your business or job is working with you, or there are options for you to sustain yourself through these next couple months. So consider me one of your resources to help figure it out, because I'm here and I'm really open to partner and brainstorm with whatever would help you. Okay, thank you for watching again, and I will see you in my next video. Bye, guys.